G'day, good morning. Welcome to the Midweek Market Meetup. We'll just see if we get a few more people joining and then we'll roll on with today. Hey Jerome, how are you? How you doing, buddy? Just let me know, guys, if the music's too loud or you can hear me okay. Just with a thumbs up in the comments. Good morning, Tommy. Thanks for joining, mate. Perfect. Thanks, guys. The playlist is Lofi Healing Your Soul. Coffee Beach it is. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat. I find it quite calming while I'm trading. I just have this playing in the background. Hope you're all having a good morning. We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get rolling. All right, let's get rolling. Zaza, how you doing? Oh, a bit of jazz. Yeah, nice. It's either this for me or maybe Metallica or something. Quite contrasting music styles. Whatever I'm in the mood for. All right, let's go and have a look at the calendar today. I think everyone's probably aware of what we've got going on. We have FOMC today. So looking at a rate cut today. I've read some information on this. It looks like there's a 40-point rate cut already factored in to prices. Looking for a potential 50-point cut, even possibly a 60-point cut, but we'll see. See what happens and see how that affects the market. So essentially any analysis today will just be looking at the mechanics of the process we go through to draw our analysis, because it'll probably get destroyed anyway by whatever the Fed comes up with, whatever the news is. So we'll just have a look at the mechanics through the assets and see if anything plays out later on today. What do we got? 2 p.m. for the news. So I'm not going to be trading this morning at all. I'll be waiting until tomorrow to trade. And you can trade after 2 if you want to trade the PM session and wait for news. I will be sound asleep at that stage, so I won't be looking at the PM session. All right, let's go and have a look at the charts. So here we are on CL. And I wanted to have a look at something with you guys, get your feedback, get your ideas. Just something I was looking at yesterday with a CL trade. So we might just jump down. I had a bullish bias yesterday on CL because I wanted to see price reach into this daily FEG, this bearish FEG, and it did in fact complete that bias, which was great to see. But if we drop down to the hourly, so this is the area that I'm interested in, and I wanted to get your take on it. So this was coming into open. This was the 9 o'clock candle here, and I was, actively looking for a bullish trade, and we had this volume imbalance here. There was no point of interest on the high time frame chart here, where we usually look for price to reach into an FEG or a swing low or a swing high as a point of interest to then drop down to the lower time frame. But we have this volume imbalance, and this is also a bullish order block. So I watched this as a potential setup. It's not something that I have data on, and I just wondered if you guys would consider taking a trade off an order block or off a volume imbalance, because when we drop down to the 5 minute, if we just replay that, so you can see the grey box here, that's the volume imbalance. And the orange line here is the 50% of that hourly order block. So I was watching price at this point, and I'd already identified our breaker here, or our potential breaker. And then if we skip forward, we do get a nice reaction. We create an order block, and then we displace through the breaker. So once we displace through the breaker, we don't actually get an entry for this trade. If you were to take it, or if you were to consider taking it, we don't actually get a fill. Price doesn't come back to the breaker. Mr. Beck, hello, how you doing? I hope I said your name correctly. So yeah, would you guys consider taking this trade? If we did get a fill here, would you call it an A plus setup coming out of a volume imbalance or off an order block, or would you just not consider it at all? Because it was ultimately, I think it was like a 5R trade, or very close to. CL had a nice run up into that bearish daily FEG. Is that a yep that I said your name right, Mr. Beck, or you would take this trade? I think it's for your name. Anyway, it was a good trade. It certainly ran and gave us a good RR, but we didn't get an entry. So when you see a volume imbalance, tell me, and an order block, you'd go for it, eh? Yeah, that's what I'm going to start collecting data on it myself. I think that, certainly it played out nicely, and you could have market ordered in once you got this close through the breaker if you're confident enough to do so, and if you have the data to back it up. That was certainly something I was considering at the time, but I will forward test from now on. Jerome's on board. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm definitely going to collect the data, and as time goes on, it won't. It'll be forward tested data, so it's going to take a while to collect. But I'll share the information and any successful trades that I take using that approach. Oh, the other thing I came across yesterday, just something I wanted to share, and I'm not sure if anyone knows of this feature in TradingView, but if you use your position tool to set up your trade, so you create a limit order. So you put buy in, and then that will, that will set your orders. Okay, so most people, or a lot of people, know about this setup. But what I came across yesterday was, sometimes you might be in a trade or looking at a trade. You've got your, you might have your breaker block, and then, price breaks through the breaker block, but then you don't have time. So once it closes through the breaker, sometimes you might not have time to set your limit order, and price will be straight back in there and then tear off. And what I found yesterday was, and tell me if you know this already, but if you go to create limit order using the position tool and just close that, the order actually stays there, but it's not an actual order yet. It just has the positions here, and you can still move them, do whatever you want. And then as soon as that candle closes, you could hit buy, and it will place the orders. So I don't know if anyone's used that feature before, but just something I came across yesterday, and I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, let's go and get on with today's analysis. All right, so oil, while we're here, we'll have a look at oil. Oil reached up into the bearish FEG, which is our target yesterday. Oh, you noticed it too, Joe. It must be a new feature, is it? I haven't seen that before, but I thought it certainly is a great add-on. It'll just make for a more efficient trading experience. You can literally just set your order. It's not actually an order until you press buy, so it's just sitting there ready. Glad G? No worries, pal. I'm happy to share whatever information I can, whatever helps the community or makes us better traders. Okay, so CL in a bearish FEG now. Price reached up into this yesterday. We had a bullish bias. Our bias was completed once we reached into this bearish FEG. Now, once we reach into that level, doesn't necessarily mean I will change my bias straight away, but I would be looking for a change in the state of delivery on a lower time frame to confirm that reversal. We can see price is pushing away from that bearish FEG now. So we would be looking for lower prices on oil today. Let's have a look at the hourly. So this leg here reached up into an important level, which was the daily bearish FEG. And then as we've moved away from that level, we've created a change in the state of delivery, a a bearish change in the state of delivery. We have displacement in this move away. And this is the first moment in time that we get a change in trend. So a lot of times you'll see the change in the state of delivery. You might use the left side of the chart, but it's the first moment in time that we get a change in trend. So I use that level. That is the first moment in time, which in this case is on the right side of the chart, but that is a valid change in the state of delivery. The correct micro for CL is MCLZ24, right? Yes, that is correct. Actually, just while we're on CL, what I didn't mention before is we have inventories tonight, or this morning rather, tonight for me. So inventories, if we just quickly go back, and then we'll have a look at that, the contract as well, Jerome. Let's have a look here. Okay, going back to Forex Factory for a minute, and we'll just drop over to the energy calendar, and we have the inventories at 10:30. So if you were looking to trade at all and you wanted to trade CL today, I would be looking to wait until after 10:30. I'm not really sure on the impact FOMC will have on oil. It's probably just a good idea to sit on your hands today in general. But as an independent thinker, it's up to you guys to make that decision. Okay, so let's go now and have a quick look at the contract. Where are we? Not that one, this one. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. So this is barchart.com if you guys haven't used this site before. And we can just go over to energies. And if we have a look at crude, this gives you all the contracts. We can click on crude. And the current contract is CLX24. So that's the November contract. The open interest is 346,000 and the volume is 69,000. So we've got the highest volume on the CLX contract. So that's where you want to be at the moment. CLX24 or MCLX. And you can do the same for futures. So if you have a look at the indices, go away ads. And if you were to, these are quarterly contracts. So the current contract is the December contract. And if you have a look, we just rolled over yesterday where the volume and the open interest increased. So we flipped to the NQZ contract. So barchart.com is the website. I'm just going to throw that in chat. Okay, so looking back at oil, as I said, we've got the change in the state of delivery here. And it looks like this order block may be supporting price, but we'll keep an eye on that. At the moment, price is pushed back up into this hourly FVG, this bearish FVG. and looks to be respecting that level as well. We've got low resistance liquidity on the other side of price. We have high resistance liquidity on our side of price. Yep, still on November, buddy. And there's still a lot more low resistance liquidity for price to reach for down here, but focusing on this area through here. Excuse me. So overall, looking for bearish price action on oil today. Jump over to Euro futures. So on the daily, we've been working from this FEG, this bearish FEG, which was invalidated. So when price closed through, that invalidated that level. We were coming off a swing low, which gave us a bullish bias. We then pushed through this bearish FEG and have continued to move higher. So I've still got a bullish bias for 6E and anticipating price to reach for this swing high here. So on the hourly, price has been in a range, very choppy, to be expected with FOMC today. I'm sure we'll see that change. This is that target. We've got low resistance liquidity here and high resistance liquidity from the lows down here. This, if we run our standard deviations from this manipulation leg here, or the leg that took liquidity, we can see that the -2 standard deviation, which is our target area, the -2 to 2.5, aligns perfectly with this high here. So I'm still keen to see price reach higher. We're just consolidating over the last couple of days. So anticipating price to move and reach that high. Yes. Okay, here we are on ES on the daily. This was our drawn liquidity yesterday. The swing high here. And price reached that, no worries, yesterday. Which completes our bias. We also filled more of this bearish FEG. We almost fully filled that FEG. So resting price moving from a swing high and a bearish FEG, therefore we have a bearish bias today. And again, we're just looking at the mechanics because we know FOMC will likely destroy any analysis. We also have, if we just go back to the daily, we have an SMT through here, a bearish SMT. So we've got a bearish SMT here with NQ. And we do have the makings of a reversal here. We have a bearish change in the state of delivery. And I like to use manipulation legs for projections. So if we had a look at this projection here, price was reaching for the -2. But this is our highs over here. And as soon as we reach those highs, we turned around. We have low resistance liquidity on the other side of price. We have this change in the state of delivery because we've got displacement here as well. So what we want to see is if price is going to continue lower, that this change in the state of delivery is respected, meaning if we come up to it, that we push away from it. We have a breaker here as well, a bearish breaker. Again, we'll see if that offers any resistance to price, so we can see movement to the downside. And again, running our projections from the manipulation leg. This is the leg that took liquidity. And we've got low resistance liquidity running through here as well. -2 to -2.5, perfectly aligned with that. So we have some good targets here if price is willing to move lower. And price will do whatever it wants to do. So time will tell. Yeah, I also like to see low resistance liquidity, Jerome. It's I think it really helps define target areas. Over on NQ now on the daily, we've been targeting these highs through here. I was really hoping to see these equal highs taken. That hasn't happened. And that's where we get this SMT with ES. So NQ has been the weaker pair for a little while now. And it's showing its hand still as being the weaker pair. ES was able to make a higher high here compared to this high, whereas NQ was not able to do the same. So using the SMT, we also swept this high here from Friday, so we can look for a bearish bias on NQ as well. So already had some markups here on NQ. We have a similar setup here to ES. We have this negative change in the state of delivery. Price respecting this bearish FEG on the hourly at the moment. And I usually like to have the midpoint marked, because it's quite amazing how often price respects that 50% level. And right now it's doing exactly that. So again, high resistance liquidity. And we have low resistance liquidity running through this region here. So overall bearish on NQ until FOMC says otherwise. Let's have a look at gold. So gold has been at all-time highs, which it makes it a little bit more tricky to analyze in some respects because we don't have any reference points. We don't have any swing highs or to work from or bearish FEGs. So basically when you look at it, we've been pushing out of this bullish FEG. And we eventually got a strong move higher. So we just use the trend. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So I've maintained a bullish bias. And then yesterday we were looking for price to come back into this bullish FEG, which it did. And we're now getting a reaction from that FEG. So looking for price to reach to the high here. So bullish on gold. On the hourly, we have these relative equal highs or smooth edges, low resistance liquidity. We have high resistance liquidity here. I mean, even the smallest FEG can support price. This one here is supporting price. So I'd still like to see price move higher on gold. Especially with these smooth edges through here. I think that's a really nice draw on liquidity and this low resistance liquidity here. So overall bullish on gold. Jerome has asked if there was no FOMC today, would you be interested in taking this morning's London Unicorn? If I was on the charts, yes. If I was on the charts, I would, because it was actually a really nice setup. And I think Jerome did a little markup of a NASDAQ short. We'll have a quick look at it, I think. Let's go back to it. So yes, I would have had a bearish bias coming into today because of where price was located. So bearish bias, and here is the London trade. So here's our bearish breaker. Aiming for 2R. Which price reaches, no worries. Entry is at 3:50 AM, so that's entry is within the kill zone. So yeah, overall very nice trade. Did you actually execute that, Jerome? Because it's a very nice setup. Let's have a look at the daily on Dixie. So since price invalidated this bullish FEG, I've been looking for price to reach to these lows. That hasn't happened as yet. I still have no reason to change my bias. Price isn't at a point of interest, so we're using the most recent information still, which is this invalidation of the bullish FEG. So remaining bearish on Dixie. So I had a couple of things marked out on here that I've been tracking. Standard deviations from this manipulation leg. We can see price reached to the -4 and has actually started to retrace from there. So that's something to keep in mind. Also looking at a sweep here of the Monday low. So an important level. And then we displace higher. We've got an FEG here. So we actually have a bullish change in the state of delivery. So price looks like it's respecting that at this stage. So we may actually see a reversal here, but using the daily bias, still looking for price to reach lower. Have a look at GBP. So we had GBP on the daily here, pushing out of a daily busy or daily bullish FEG, and prices continue to expand higher, and we've been looking for price to reach this external level here. We didn't get that yesterday. Price did sell off a little bit, but that's also a healthy thing to see. So I'm still looking for bullish price action today, looking for price to reach this high. Tommy says work is getting in the way of trading. It has a habit of doing that until you're good enough that you can leave your full-time job. So here was that move out of the daily FEG. So if you're looking for this as some sort of reversal here, we didn't have displacement through this level here. So I wouldn't consider this a change in the state of delivery. Price has found support here in this bullish FEG, which we also have an order block here. So price respected this order block, and we've moved out of that region, and we've had some nice expansion today as well. We've got a balanced price range through here and a breakaway gap. So looking for price to continue higher. We've also got these equal highs here which price almost reached. So potentially we might see a move into this bullish FEG before we continue to move higher. Overall bullish on GBP. Euro futures, would like to see price pull down into this bullish FEG before continuing higher. So remaining bullish on Euro futures. And it's same, Euro USD, not futures. Same idea though, we're in this consolidation at the moment. So waiting for price to decide what it wants to do. And then that'll give us a bit better gauge on where we're likely to go. So just remaining patient. We can still use the extremes of the range for entries. So we could look for price, if it was to sweep this hourly low here, we could look for a long higher, which would be aligned with our bias. All right, guys, that's about it for analysis today. If you've got any questions, throw them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll start to wrap it up. Ash is going to go live on YouTube today. So we want to make sure we're out of here and give him space to do his thing as well. Well done on taking the trade, even though you risked less. That's the right approach to take if you're unsure. I think that's a pretty good idea. But it's also forward testing, so you've risked less and you've forward tested and you've got data. Thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. We will catch you next week for the midweek market meetup. Until then, trade safe and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye for now.